matched up with Max Clare this spring, and just what your impressions are.
Yeah, he's a very good player. I think his route running is what sets him apart as a tight end. Runs routes like a receiver, and tight end size body. So he's going to be elite inside the form this year. I think with us having two elite receivers in Jeremiah and Carnell, plus Brandon, I think he's going to have a lot of great opportunities to get the ball.
Is that what you respect the most as a linebacker and a tight end, that it's a bigger body and the speed? That because one or the other, you probably feel like you have the advantage still.
Yeah, so I think with him, like him being the same size, you can still get physical and things like that. But you got to be able to run with him, and you can expect him to be pretty shifty and things like that coming out of breaks.
That's
Sonny, we always thought that you were like the most athletic linebacker we'd seen because of what you at safety and what you probably could do on the edge. Are you ever wowed by anything that Arvell does, athletic-wise? Because he seems like he's right there with you.
Yeah, he's a very athletic linebacker as well. I think me and him probably the two most athletic linebackers in the country. So he's super strong, super fast. Really do it all on the field. Like you said, kind of pretty similar in terms of athleticism.
And what do you think that Peyton brings to the defense that maybe wasn't even when you guys were doing three linebacker stuff last year?
I'm not gonna say it wasn't there, but I think he brings he's very physical linebacker. He's very smart. I think all three of us are smart, but I think he reads stuff very fast. I think that's what makes him so good. He's reading stuff fast. He sees fast. He comes downhill with a very physical presence, and yeah, he does a really good job at the point of attack in terms of like he creates impact or creates a collision with the offensive lineman. He does a really good job with that. So I'm excited for him. He has a big year coming up.
Sonny, it felt like last year on the defense it had so many names that people talk about. Cody, maybe one of them that we discussed. What did you learn about the linebacker position and how to lead a defense from him and from kind of playing next to him?
Yeah, Cody's one of those guys does everything the right way all the time. When guys are doing stuff the right way on a consistent basis, you can expect them to do the right things in the game as well. So something I've been trying to adapt to myself, doing things consistently the right way every day, the little things as well. He's a guy you can look to in the hard times where he's still cool and collected. I feel like I'm kind of that guy as well. So it was great playing along with him. He's a great player, super talented. Very good at what he did. He's a professional, the way he carried himself and his preparation. So I'm excited for him.
It felt like early in your career, obviously, position change and things like that. How much more comfortable do you feel now compared to maybe just a year or so?
Yeah, I feel.
there goes the audio.
Yeah, I feel super confident. I think year two of the position, just getting more and more comfortable. Confident in what I'm doing. Just more so focused on what is the offense doing instead of like being focused on trying to memorize my job and stuff like that. I feel like I got all that stuff down. I feel like I understand the defense at a high level. So I'm now starting to understand what's the offense doing, what formations, what plays, and things like that. So it's been going pretty well. I had a pretty good spring. Excited for camp.
Sonny, we've talked to you a lot about being a leader. Who are some of the other guys around you that you've seen really stepping up as leaders this offseason?
I'll say Caleb. He's done a really good job. I'll say Kenyan Drake has done a very good job. Really excited for him. He's going to have a huge year. He's a great dude. He does things the right way every day. He holds everyone accountable, including me. Obviously has all the tools it takes to be a monster at any time. So super excited for him. I think both the quarterbacks have done a very good job in their leadership roles. They're both stepping into that vocal role and exactly what you want in a quarterback. I think Austin Satterfield has done a good job as well. He does things the right way. Another high character guy. He's a talented player as well. He's gonna have a big year. Carnell Tate. There's just so many guys you can name. A bunch of great men. A bunch of guys do things the right way and are also talented to go with that.
Do you think there's been kind of a recognition amongst a lot of you guys that, hey, all those seniors walked out the door, we need to take our leadership to another level?
Yeah, I think especially for Kenyatta. I talked to him a lot. I think it's a big thing for Kenyatta because he had JT, Jack, Ty Hamilton, Tyleek all walk out the door. And now you leave that room, now it's Kenyatta and Caden Kerr, the seniors. So I think those two guys, it's probably hit them the most because it's like, all right, it's time for us to step up. They've been here for 3 years. They've have the chance to be behind some really good defensive ends, like Jack and JT. So I'm super excited for both of them, and I know they're super excited. It's a big year for both.
What is Kenyatta doing differently this offseason that just stands out to you so much?
I mean, his leadership presence is huge. I think, last year with those two in the room, Jack and JT, it's kind of hard for him to find his way into the leadership. And now it's like he feels like it's his time. I can tell his confidence is through the roof. His maturity is through the roof. So mature. He's just doing so well. I mean, I think he gained a few pounds. Dude looks like a first-round D end. Exactly what he's supposed to look like. He has all the tools, so it's going to be a big year.
And what kind of asset do you think it can be for you guys, the depth you have at D end with Kenyatta, with Caden, Bo, Logan, CJ?
Yeah, I think you have. I was just talking to someone earlier. Like the defensive end, that position. There's so much versatility there. You got size in Kenyatta, size, strength, speed, all that stuff. Then you got Bo, who's also another big defensive end. You got Logan, who come in and can be very physical. You got Bo, like I said, he's another big one. CJ is very quick, also still very strong. I don't know if people realize how strong he is. But there's so much versatility there. You got Caden Curry, he's just a baller. I always look at Caden Curry, he's just like one of those guys who just make plays no matter where he's at. Kickoff, punt return, he's always making plays. I'm excited to see him make some plays at defensive end this year. So there's so much versatility in that room, and you got a bit of a younger room in the defensive tackle room. Like Caden McDonald's about to be a sophomore, I believe. Edger's about to be a sophomore. Will Smith's about to be a junior. Things like that. So that's a bit of a younger room, but I'm excited for them as well. They're going to do really well. I think we got a lot of guys who've been waiting their turn and they're eager to play, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And I have a high expectation for the defense. Yeah, I mean, I think you got to practice hard, and that's something he did. That's something Coach Dave instilled as well. But he's always very intentional with the way we practice, and very critical in the way we practice. And I think it made the game easier. Like with him being, like he was gonna be in your ear in practice, like when you messed up and stuff like that. And that means when you got to the game, he always said before the game, he's like, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all those mistakes are on you. But when we see stuff in the stadium on Saturday, all those mistakes are on me. So you just go play. And I think that's something he told me very well. Like just going out and practice as hard as you can, so on Saturday you can just be free.
How does Patricia challenge you to be better, or even just to see the defense from a different perspective?
Yeah, I think Patricia challenged me in a way of like, all right, you're at the point where you're smart enough to know exactly what you're doing, like else is doing. Now I want you to figure out what's the offense doing. Like, start seeing, you see this formation, you see this shift, you see the quarterback looking this way. All right, just be able to start predicting, like, all right, where's the ball going and stuff like that. Because I think as a defender, especially as a linebacker, when you get to the point where you're no longer reacting, you're predicting what's going to happen, you can know what's going to happen. That's when you become elite. And I think that's something he's been challenging me with very well. He's obviously has some very elite linebackers, so I'm excited to get to learn from him.
What's one thing about Patricia that you notice about yourself that you haven't learned as far as not just him as a coach, style?
Maybe you can say knowing multiple roles. It's trying to come something I've already been used to a little bit, knowing multiple roles. It's the same thing in this defense as well. But I think the biggest thing, like I was just talking about with him challenging me, is just hearing him talk about the game and the way he's able to comprehend the game and understand like what's coming next from the offense. It's been huge, and I'm just trying to soak in all the information I can.
What part of your game do you believe makes you different from everyone else in the team?
I would say for me at the linebacker position, I feel like I can do pretty close to like anything a coordinator can ask me to do on the field. I feel like I can play off the ball. I can be with the front. I feel like I can cover. I can drop in zones. I feel like I can run the deep middle in terms of like cover two and things like that. I feel like I can blitz. I feel like I can come off the edge and things like that. Not saying I'm perfect, but I think I'm pretty good at a lot of things. Still a lot of things to work on too, like cleaning up like missed tackles, cleaning up some zone drops, and like things like that, which I think I've gotten better at. I think the versatility has been something that can separate me from the linebackers across the country.
And then last one, more of a fun question. Who would play Coach Day in a movie?
We got a long snapper named Colin Johnson. Kid's hilarious. He sounds just like Coach Day. Just like imitates some of the things he says in meetings. He sounds just like him. I could say he might look like him a little bit, so I know he'll be laughing when he sees this.
That regular season game at Oregon last year, these players that will be on the field, just the environment, not like compared to other environments.
Yeah, I think Oregon was a lot louder than expected. I mean, it's not like a huge stadium. I've been at Penn State, obviously our stadium and stuff like that. But they're very loud. Great atmosphere. I think as a defense, what stood out the most was just when you go back and watch the film, there was just so many plays we weren't ready. Feet weren't in the dirt. Guys were talking as the ball being snapped and stuff like that. So it's something we ended up fixing as the season went on. So that was probably the biggest one, even that game after you watched it.
What is your lasting memory of avenging that loss?
Oh man, I just remember looking up in the second quarter and we got by like 30 or 40. And I was like, man, I wasn't really expecting that. I was expecting a dog fight, but yeah, that was just a crazy game. Just felt like everything was clicking just how it was supposed to be. A lot of guys had a lot of good games, a lot of great plays.
With the new NIL clearinghouse, have you had any third-party deals over the last month that either the CSC's denied or they didn't get back to you in time so you lost that money?
No, I think with what I'm aware of with the NIL Go stuff, it's been pretty straightforward. Like you submit it to them, and they review it. Everything we do at Ohio State is pretty straightforward. It's doing stuff the right way. We've been doing like that the whole time, so there hasn't been any trouble.
Coach State mentioned that there has been some deals for Ohio State players that were denied and that didn't get back to you. But he wouldn't say how much, but among your teammates, has that come up over the last 3 weeks that somebody said, hey, I lost out on how much money because they didn't get back to me, they denied this?
No, I haven't heard anything, honestly. The only thing that's a little different is like you just won't get paid until they reach back and accept it. But, I haven't really heard anything about anyone getting denied, honestly.
Sonny, you came in and played right away as a freshman in your freshman season. You know what it takes. With TJ and with Riley, what have you seen from those guys that maybe makes you think that they could have a role at some point this year?
Yeah, I think the physical traits they have stand out. You can see them. They don't look like freshman linebackers, not at all. They're both about 230, getting close to 235. So they got big frames and stuff like that. They're both very physical, play the game physical way. But I think the biggest thing we get on the field as a freshman is just can the coach trust you? And that's something they're working on right now. I think they're doing a pretty good job at it too. Just earning Coach Laurinaitis and Coach Patricia's trust every day. And yeah, I think that's the biggest thing when you get on the field as a freshman. So there's a lot because you come to Ohio.
Battles that you had and then to get through the postseason. What is that like? Big Ten?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Big Ten is the best. It's the best conference in football. You got teams top to bottom. Every week's a battle. There's no easy wins. Like I remember we played off the bye. We played Nebraska. And I think they had just got blown out by Indiana, and we're in a dogfight with them all the way down to the end. So it just goes to show you every week's a battle. There's no easy wins. I think there's just so many good teams in the Big Ten, and yeah, it's a tough conference for sure.
And then physically, how you guys had to go through the playoffs. You guys were the first ones to kind of go that deep. What did that take out of you guys physically? Obviously, it was worth it to win the national championship, but afterwards, physically, kind of beating us that guys to get all the way that deep.
Yeah, I think that's what we trained for. I think Coach Mick, our strength coach, and Coach Day prepared us for the physical battle was going to be. We knew what it was going to take, and so our bodies were ready for it. And I think Coach Mick does an amazing job in the off seasons. He prepares us for that. We get the amount of yards we need to get to prepare our bodies, lift the weights we need to prepare our bodies for those kind of things. So it's not really as much of a beating. Obviously, guys run into the walls when they hit injuries and stuff like that. Like stuff like that sucks. But I think Coach Mick does a great job for us to be physically ready, and there's also a lot of different recovery throughout the season that he makes sure that we're on top of.
What stands out about that offense specifically matching up with the route?
What you want to do as a defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in the building knows it. I mean, they've told us, we've told them, like, hey, like, if you guys aren't elite, we're not going to win. And that's on both sides of the ball, offensive line and defensive line. It starts in the trenches. So if those two position rooms aren't elite, it's pretty hard to win a national championship without those two units. So I think they both know that. Both units know that. And I think they're both going to have a good season. I'm super excited for them.
So on the field, Jeremiah, I mean, he is what he is, but everybody can see the talent. But how has he handled kind of the stardom and everything that comes for a player, especially being so young, covering the video game, accolades, all this kind of stuff? How has he handled that?
Yeah, man, Jeremiah's a super humble kid, man. Quiet guy. With all the attention he gets, you would think he'd be like super full of himself and stuff like that, man. He's so humble, so quiet, just puts his head down to work. That's what I really appreciate about him the most, man. He doesn't act like he's a big superstar, even though he is a superstar. It's I think it's fair to say that, but yeah, he works so hard. He puts in all the work. He has all the physical capabilities. he probably wouldn't have to work hard. He'd probably still be pretty good, but he puts in the hard work, so that's why he's going to be elite. And yeah, he handles all that stuff very well. I think for us, it's just taking this year and attacking and proving all the doubters wrong. And not living off last year's national championship hype. Like we're not looking at us coming into the season like, hey, we got to defend our national championship. We're looking at it this year like coming into the season like we got to prove something. We got something to prove every game. Put a chip on our shoulder. And yeah, I mean that's kind of the reason for us like trying to step away from like last year's national championship and the science and stuff like that. Really just trying to stay focused on the future. And leaving a legacy would be going and completing our 3 goals. Because since I've been here, we haven't completed those 3 goals in the season. So, being that team at North, winning the Big Ten championship and winning a national championship.
Sonny, how much of a reminders are there just in the building about the national championship game, or as a coaching staff made a point to kind of try and tuck that stuff away so it's not a slide out of mind?
Yeah, I think everyone in the building has made a point to tuck that stuff away. Obviously we can enjoy that and hold on to it forever. No one can take that from our 2024 team. But it's a new year, it's a new team. This team's got a lot to prove. I know we started this year. We do a meeting in the winter every year. And that meeting was talking about, reinstilling our culture, rebuilding our foundation, the foundation of our team. Because the foundation we have last year isn't going to work this year. It's a completely new team, new foundation, so we got to build that up.
Sonny, you may have already mentioned this, but what excites you about Matt Patricia's style of coaching, or how he's going to use you potentially?
Yeah, Coach Patricia's a good coach. He's a great coach. Obviously, he's won some Super Bowls. He's had some really good linebackers under him. It's pretty fun watching film with him, seeing all the great players he's had. I think what excites me the most is just him. He's going to put us in position to make plays. Whatever guys are good at, he's going to get him that spot to do those things. So it'll be a super exciting year. Yeah, I mean, being able to wear the block though would be an honor. I think the biggest thing, obviously, wearing the block though is about like the integrity and the character of a person. I think for me, just seeing the guys that wore that number before me and having a personal relationship with them and knowing the kind of men they were great men. So for me to be able to wear the same number as them, that would be an honor. Yeah, man, there's so many elite coaches on the staff. I mean, you got former Buckeyes, like you said, Laurinaitis, Hardline. You got Coach Jeffrey Jordan, former Buckeye, Tim Walton, former Buckeye, a bunch of NFL experience. But with Laurinaitis, I think with him playing the position and being very elite at the position, you walk down the hallway, you see him on all the awards. He's just got so much information, man, and he just understands what it's like to be a player and a player at a high level as well. So I'd say he's definitely a player's coach, and getting an understanding of mistakes are going to happen, things like that. But you're still striving to be elite every day. And he's been great. He always lays the mood up a little bit, help you relax before games and stuff like that. But he's got so much information, just trying to soak it all in.
How many times have you had a chance to kind of match it up with Jeremiah in practice with the other receivers?
We do a lot of different competitions in the offseason. So we're all, what was that? I don't like to boast on myself, so I'm not gonna say it, but we got a lot of very athletic guys on our team, so we're all competing and stuff all the time, no matter what it is.
You've been asked about our ball.
What was that?
You've been asked about our ball.
Yes, I think you asked me about our ball. Yeah.
Are you happy with your NCAA rating?
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. Didn't expect too much, so could be better, could be worse, but it doesn't really matter that much to me.
Sonny, what does it say about the culture that you guys have installed here? You've been around for 4 years now. That Jeremiah, as a 5-star freshman, can come in and immediately embrace that. Caleb can come in from Alabama, where that's a strong culture, and still kind of adapt and be a chameleon into the culture. And now you guys got guys like Devin, who seem to already be buying in as a 5-star freshman. What does it say about not just the culture that Ryan has built, but what you guys have maintained?
Yeah, I would say though, I think it all starts with Coach Day and the leader he is. He's an amazing leader. And then with Coach Mick, I think the strength coach and during the offseason, that's one of the biggest impacts on our program. And obviously he's the best of the best. So he does a great job not only with just training us physically, but the mental part of bringing us together as a team. And I think the environment he's created is you're either going to buy in or you're just going to feel like you don't belong. So a lot of guys, you're obviously going to buy in until you feel like you belong and stuff like that. But yeah, Coach Mick and Coach Day, they do a great job.
So how would you explain Kenyan Drake to the guys at Penn State?
Coach Mo is a great coach. I'd say he's a very smart, intuitive thinker. So many great ideas with the way he thinks of different ways to do defense, whether it's disguises or different blitzes and stuff like that. I think he's a perfectionist, but he understands you're not going to be perfect, if that makes sense. So we're just striving to be perfect, but we're going to come up short of that. But he does a great job. So I think he's going to do a great job at Penn State as well. What was that? What are you talking about, just in terms of today? Or in
terms of our young
Oh.
In terms of, when you won national championship, obviously, you left some things on the table last year, but you won national championship.
Yeah, I would say this team has a lot to prove. I think when you come off national championship, I think guys are just looking to prove something. I think a lot of people are down us a little bit. We lost a lot of great players. So we got a lot of people who, their time's finally here. Like I was just talking about with Kenyan and Caden Curry. They're behind JT and Jack for a while. Cornell had Jeremiah and Emeka last year. Now he's going to be one of the main guys. You got both those quarterbacks. They've been waiting their turn. Guys on the offensive line, defensive line, all across the board, safeties, Arvell as well. There's so many guys that have been waiting their turn, and I'm excited to see them go. They're hungry, as you would say. They're excited to go prove something.
How do you state?
Yeah, it means a lot. Like I was talking about earlier, there's so many great men that wore that number, and to represent the Blacko, represent what it means to be a Buckeye, it means the world to me for sure. Yeah, learning the story about Mr. Willis is pretty cool. So that'd be an honor. There's so much history behind that number. Yeah, I think as soon as we did our New Year meeting in the winter, so it's like every meeting, team meeting, everyone has assigned teams, and then when you get to a new year, everyone has new assigned teams. So it kind of shows you moving up the ranks in a way. So when you sit in those new seats, as soon as you hit those new seats, last season down the drain, you forget it. You get to hold on to that forever, but now you're focused on the new goal.
Sonny, what do you think about the two safeties that are going to compete to play with Caleb?
Yeah, I think they're both elite. Jalen McClain and Lee Carver, they're great players. Both have some solid experience with young guys. Like Jalen got the chance to play when Lathan was hurt. Lee got the chance to start as a freshman. So they both got a little bit of experience. I think they're both very smart. So it's gonna be a tough matchup, but I think it'll make the best of the both of them.
When you played Penn State last year, what was the scouting process like playing offense? Did you see a lot of that again this year?
Yeah, I think the thing with the offense last year was just so much different pictures. You got so many different looks. You had the tight end with the Wildcat and stuff like that. So you had to prepare for a lot. And you also knew it was going to be a physical matchup. They're going to run the ball right at you and stuff like that. They're going to take some shots downfield with Drew. So I think the biggest thing with them, though, is there's so much different stuff you have to prepare for, and I think they do that on purpose. It kind of get you off your game a little bit, but they're a tough team to play. What was that? Yeah, I think they're probably going to be, they're probably natty or bust this year. That's how they're feeling. They got a lot of guys who came back for their last year. Drew and the two running backs. They got a few guys on the defense that are in their last year as well. So I know they're going to be a great team.
You're talking about Jeremiah and being so impressive off the field. A couple of weeks ago, you talked about the Michigan game and how you How impressive is that for you to see a kid who's from South Florida come in after a year and kind of get it so quickly and kind of understand what that means?
Yeah, I'm not surprised with the kind of person he is. He loves Ohio State. I think he loves being a Buckeye. It means a lot to him. He could have went to a lot of other places just like the rest of us. So a lot of guys are bought into that rivalry. It means a lot to us.
How does that game loom? Obviously you guys won the national championship last year, but like you mentioned, how does that game kind of loom for you guys this offseason? You did win the national championship, but that is big finish.
Yeah, the goal is to win that game every year, plus the Big Ten and the national championship. So went 1 for 3 on that one, but obviously we got the biggest one. But in my 3 years being here, we haven't accomplished those other 2 goals. So that's the goal this year, go get that done, plus the national championship. And I think we're just excited, ready to go put it all out there. I think Coach Day's done a good job this year talking about surrendering the outcome, not being afraid of losing, no fear in not achieving the goal, just going out and doing everything you can to achieve the goal.
Does that game, I mean, the last couple of years, the 14 playoff, obviously, there was a lot of talk about that game kind of matter, I guess, in terms of has the emphasis of that game not changed, obviously, the importance, but has that changed in the 12-team playoff considering what you guys did last year?
No, I would say the game is still the game. The ultimate goal is to win a national championship, but the game is still the game for a reason. So there's nothing that can belittle that game. When you lose that game, it still hurts. Winning a national championship was amazing, but it still hurts to lose that game. So it's called the game for a reason.
You talked about hunger as a team, but you were a key contributor last year. Caleb, Jeremiah, some of those guys. How do you guys individually stay hungry to the same level as some of those guys who are stepping into bigger roles?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're an elite player, or you're striving to be an elite player, you have to be a bit of a perfectionist. Going back and watching all the things that you didn't do well or didn't do good enough. I know for me, just watching stuff like a few missed tackles here and there, zone drops not being as clean as I want to. Maybe I could be better pass rushing, things like that. There's always so much to work on. And then also just staying hungry in terms of yes, we won a national championship, like I said, but we didn't complete two of the goals we wanted to complete. So there's something to stay hungry with that alone right there.
Do those younger guys, or inexperienced, maybe not younger, did they feed that a little bit too because they maybe were on the roster but didn't have the same kind of impact that you guys did? Does that push some of the guys who maybe did and have experienced that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe some of the guys who didn't play, I think it still stings just the same to not win that game. And I think now it feels like it's their time to go win the game. It's their chance to go have a direct impact and have a bigger impact on that game.
If you had to describe,
Some people doubted you guys. Kind of what maybe you've seen out there that makes you feel that?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
You mentioned before feeling like some people are doubting you guys. What have you maybe seen out there that made you think that?
I just know it's the way that it works. You have a great team like that. We just won a national championship. You see a lot of guys get drafted. It's like, oh man, they got a lot to replace. Like, who do they have? So I think not too many people outside of the building know exactly what we have. So we're excited to go show the world exactly what we do have. So a lot of great players.
real quick, if you had to describe Jeremiah Smith to someone who has never seen him play, what would you say?
I would say, in terms of receiver, he's the ideal athlete. Like, as big as you can get, 6'4", heavy you can get, about 225. You can run, you can catch. I would just say he's like the ideal. Like, when you're trying to build a receiver in a lab, that's about what you would get right there with him. What do I think about that? What? Yeah, there's a select few guys who could probably leave college after 1 year. He's definitely one of them, but the rule makes sense. I think you should take those 3 years, turn into a man. Because a lot of times when kids get to college, they're still boys. When you walk into college, like I was a boy, I was 17 when I came to college. And I'm still pretty young right now, but I feel like I'm growing into a man. So I think those 3 years are definitely key for players.
Sonny, this is your
Yeah, we got a pretty young group with us here in Las Vegas.
This is potentially your last time to be on the same team as your brother. You guys talked about that, and then your dad has gone through this process as well, which is kind of unique. What has he talked to you about, potentially the last season as a Buckeye?
Yeah, obviously it's super special to be able to play with my brother at the highest level together. Very few people get to experience that, especially at the highest level here at Ohio State. So, definitely going to cherish that. I think with my dad, the guidance he's provided me, it's been very crucial. I've been able to sit down and watch film with him and stuff like that. Obviously, he played in the NFL. He knows what that's like and what they're looking for and things like that. So he's been a great resource for me. I'm super blessed to have him in my life.
And you talked about some of the guys with an opportunity to now the guy ahead of them has left. And Jordan Hancock's off the NFL, so Lorenzo Styles has an opportunity to play. Give us a scouting report on Lorenzo Styles and what he has done this offseason.
I think Lorenzo, scouting report on him, he's a freak athlete. He's probably going to be like one of the most athletic nickels in the draft this year. He can cover, he can run with anybody. He's very smart. He studies the game very well. He can do just about anything you can ask from a nickel. So super versatile as well. And he has ultimate confidence in himself, and that's what you need when you're playing DB. You got to believe you're the best, and can't nobody catch a ball on you.